Almost you see one is cutting back over the river, potentially seeing nobody else is going there, saying, okay, I'll gladly take all the loot. Let's go get as many as we can.
There's Tempo and Snobby. No surprise there. Morgoss had some crazy scenarios in his day of playing. If you remember, so low HP, was able to get some elims when you thought it wasn't possible. 99 players in this lobby. And no surprise here, Aiden is in Tilted. The man who surprised so many people, said the other day was arguably the best day of his life. And look at Nick Merckx, already tagged up and weak and Tilted. We'll keep an eye on him later on, but this is in Viking Village. Saf going up against Cryo. Cryo, if you remember last night, won a coin flip to make it on in today.
A lot to see here up against Ghost. Saf is an excellent player, very, very good at quick reactions and quick edits, and Cryo hopefully can take advantage of his coin flip. Does not make it out the first game here. Viking Village pretty ruthless when it comes to loot at times. The building's there's a lot of tight quarters. They're playing out in the open though, and the exposure costs Cryo.
And this is Jack from United going up against Bartonologist. You see using that ramp edit to get a clear view. Tries to farm some extra materials, doesn't quite get a chance yet.
See the feed Poach picking up an elimination.
It's on the Povsey. As Jack clears out that sight line. Still just watching his back for a second. I don't think, does he know Bartonologist is
might not
right on the other side of this wall? Yeah, Bartonologist is just looking for the drop here. He's just waiting. It looks like there's an engagement about to go down. Bartonologist peeking the corner. Hasn't jumped out yet.
Well, he's got it.
That blue submachine gun, though, can absolutely shred this early on. He does have a health disadvantage at the moment. Trying to break on in. Maybe get a sight line of his opponent down low. Is he hiding into the pyramid? He is. He uses that time to pop under their shield, it appears. As now you've got to think Jack has a ton of health advantage and gets the hip-fired spread. Beautifully done from him. Yeah, he popped a big shield to go to 200 HP. And that's when it's kind of out of reach for Bartonologist.
It looked like it took just a couple crits there with the AR midair on his opponent, Bartonologist. Now this is the fight. I saw the elimination of the feed, but here's Povsey going down to Liquid Poach up here. Oh, a quick midair burst. The only weapon Poach was sitting on, a gray burst, and that was enough.
Now just north of Flush Factory, you see Takada looking for where exactly Snood could be. Very low on materials. At least he's quite healthy at 175 HP. Snood had a major disadvantage there. Looks like he'll go ahead and just kind of leave this build for now. Maybe try to farm up some trees. Get himself some wood here, Lupo, to build.
Didn't want to get caught in a 1v1 in a tight quarter situation against Snood. Not enough materials early game to engage inside a building. Players typically use like a wall or a ramp mid-fight to stop even just a single shotgun blast if the timing is perfect. You saw there quickly the circle, Courage almost perfectly centered, maybe a little south side, which means pretty much everybody, unless you're maybe in Junction or the very top right, the northeast corner is going to have to, they have plenty of time to farm up materials, which means I would expect late game fights to be very competitive. Typically, if the circle is shifted hard the one side or the other, top, bottom, east, west, wherever it is go. If it's very far away from players, those players are almost easy pickings just because they don't have the materials. And in competitive games, Courage materials you almost choose over anything else.
Torky Lips, who led day one with eliminations in the qualifiers, looks like he hasn't skipped a beat.
Catches Trouble was X's off guard there through the doorway. Looks like Jay Cuddy's trying to bait with the trap here. Somebody must be in the area. World's Best Gaming's Unicorn rotating around the outside. I think I saw him yesterday wearing actually like a rainbow sweatshirt. It's pretty cool.
Nobody with 2 elims yet. And again, to set the tone for just how crazy these games are, how different they are from what you're used to playing at home. There is still 78 players left in the lobby, and the first zone is about to begin to push. That was Punisher cutting down his opponent there. But yeah, look at that, Lupo. I mean, at home, right? You probably have, what, 35 players left at this point? Maybe 30? 78. I think players are taking the passive route for this start to today.
Now, there's a high number of players that have 1 elimination. Nobody right now has 2 currently. Horrify goes down to Mac from Soar. The accuracy on the shotgun shots from a lot of these players today looks fantastic, which means it's gonna come down to who makes a mistake first.
Goodness. Look at the ramp block from Aiden onto Crunch. He blocks the rocket, it damages Crunch, and then he follows up with the elim there. Aiden still in a good spot. Nick Merckx still alive. These two, the 2 kings of Tilted that we've seen so far this week.
it does make me wonder. We've seen players analyze each other's gameplay. Aiden most likely very aware that Nick Merckx goes to, I'm going to be honest, the same building almost every single time. Do you think he's purposely avoiding an engagement if possible?
Listen, Aiden's gone basically everywhere around there, but in the engagement feed, Emad just took down tempo from last night phase of the 4 games. Phase won 3 of them. This was actually Tyler's in an engagement with Painful PvP, and right now Painful looks like he had all the advantage, and yeah, he did. Tyler's down early. Our kind of outspoken player from yesterday unfortunately drops here early in game 1.
Now there's still 5 games left for these players, even after this one has been completed. So a bad game or two, it doesn't spell the end.
Is this Nick versus Aiden? Is this Nick versus Aiden?
Shot to Nick Merckx goes down. Aiden says, "Welcome to Tilted."
And there, oh, Aiden letting him know.
I gotta say it, hi Twitter.
That honestly. Right there, folks, is what it's all about. Aiden knowing the reputation of Nick Merckx. Nick now seeing a new controller player trying to claim his Tilted area. And well, I feel like that's a battle we're gonna see a lot today, Lupo.
Psalm building up against, I believe it is it Levake here up in the sky. A lot of layers here, and there's a kind of a third player potentially entering, maybe 3 or 4. They're very exposed right here. I'm surprised. I was going to say, I'm surprised no one has begun shooting down the structure here. It looked like it was built extremely vertically. They're kind of exposed.
Yep.
Psalm's got to be very careful that it doesn't look like he has a bounce pad. I would expect him to kind of have it out. Aiden has just claimed Tilted Towers as his own. Takes out.
Ladies and gentlemen,
ecstatic.
There are about 15 players at least who have won a limb in this game. Aiden, the only one at 3, has earned our first point today. Aiden continues his tear as he has claimed Tilted Towers. We said 4 people landed there at the start of this game. Everyone was eliminated by Aiden as he's now at 3.
The zone is starting to, it's going to have to start pushing players in. You're going to see people that are, this is kind of the beginning of the mix-up. You know, chaos typically happens. The storm closing. Now we're going to see where the next circle is. It's centered over Tilted Towers, which means Aiden doesn't even have to move.
He's big chilling right now. There's a drop coming on in as well. Aiden's thought process, it looked like he basically said, you know what? I know Nick Merckx is going to go Big Gray. I'm going to land at double L's, loot Big Red, loot the new building, and then once I have everything I could ever want, then I'll challenge Nick at Big Gray. And it worked out perfectly for him there. He's still maxed on HP. Here's Boyer, who we just saw pop a medkit to get to full health. Over to Marcides now on the edge of the football or soccer stadium. So he's trying to spot this player. You hear listening for those audio cues. It's actually WBG Punisher who took down Tempo earlier on.
In the feed, Tfue takes an elimination there on Powder from Alliance. That is his first elim. Poach still has one. The list of players that are sitting on 1 elimination now is monstrous. Jay Cuddy actually has 2, but still Aiden, the only one, you see the board there, only one with 3. The only player with a single. Aiden actually just picked up his 4th elimination, which puts him 1 away from a second point.
I mean, can this man be stopped?
Engagement down here, though. He's trying to drop the structure down. Looking, you see that you can even hear the fall damage right there. That should be a Q.
He caught on the 1 layer of a ramp, though, which kept the high ground for his opponent. And now Marcides knows just how tough of a situation he's in. Trying to get the quick edit to peek on out. Can't get the structure shut down in time. He's wearing a great shirt, though, so I'll give him that either way. Punisher with the elim.
Style matters, but the points are everything, Courage. Unicorn, Sakairos, very small. They're 2 floors away from each other. This is Aiden's 4th elimination earlier. A rotation in and lasers. Absolutely lasers. That gold AR is incredibly powerful. Chap building up here. It did look like Aiden picked up a Chug Jug right as he cut away, which means he's full health, full shield, ready for the next engagement. He's still safe inside the zone, but Chap here just on the west side of Dusty Divot, stuck in a 1v1, but we've seen Chap build. We've seen Chap take advantage of height and all of the structure here that he has ownership of, and we're going to watch players still continue to do that. They're going to break out anything they can. take ownership of it. He puts the pyramid up to block any push. The player underneath, just trying to keep Chap away. And I'm going to be honest with you, Courage. A player like Chap, I don't think that's necessarily going to work.
No.
Chap is going to look for an angle, the weak spot in his players, the way that they're developing this strategy against him. He's going to take advantage of it. I almost expect at this point maybe a drop down, a knockout, and Chap to go just for a shotty shot on mid-air. He's got dualies as well.
Quickly to mention, E-United's Jack just knocked out Liquid Poach from this first game. So Poach eliminated with about 61 players left. This is by far the slowest game we've had to this point this week with how many people are still in play. Here goes the battle, Chap versus this enemy inside Dusty Divot. Both players getting hit heavy, and oh, Kayun. Well, Chap falls right on into the window, and well, Kayun's shotgun wins that engagement there.
Both players just outside the zone, too. Ilte's taking shots, trying to drop the structure of his opponent before they rotate in. He's just hanging out outside the storm, but it's only ticking for one, so it's not enough damage to worry about, but he has to build himself in. His opponent got a top down on him, got the height advantage, but he has the ability to edit out. Going to take ownership of that ramp in the middle, or at least just get it out of the way so his opponent doesn't have it. Building these little catacombs, trying to, it's a way to have your opponent lose track of your location. The replays from FaZe, he's still on top of him. Still watching, trying to grab. These players are fighting back and forth constantly for who owns what surface. The shots coming in through the angle to edit there, and Replays gets quite a bit of damage, maybe enough to push in, and he does. The shotgun and a fight inside the box and takes Ilchase out. 2 eliminations for Replays now. Beautifully done by Replays. He'll be rewarded with a medkit to get the full HP. While this was going on, 0 players have yet to hit 3 elims outside of Aiden. And while that fight was going on, Aiden actually moved up to 5 eliminations now at 2 points earned this game. Jay Cuddy just earned his 3rd elim to put him at 1 point as well. Apparently Aiden's 5th elim was actually a trap that he left behind in a building in Tilted, and someone ran right through it. That's not the first time he's done that either. During his qualifiers, that his 8th elimination in the 2nd game came from a trap as he was rotating to the west.
Remember, that is incredible.
I love those.
8 elimination 2nd game heading west.
I specifically remember where it happened too.
Okay, Looper, jeez. It's that dad brain right there. You're showing it off. I love it. As Aiden, he's got another player close. He's got a launch pad at his inventory as well. Tilted will be out of play soon. You see, as he enters each room, he checks the roof for any traps. Make sure he can't sprint on in. And the feed down there, replays from FaZe going down to Kayun, who just took out, I believe, Liquid Chap before that. That is a stack of eliminations to be proud of right there. Jack from EU with 3 elims, Jay Cuddy still 3 elims, and Aiden with 5. That's 3 players currently with points. Aiden having 2, the others 1 apiece. Looks like Aiden has a player on the inside in here trying to take ownership of the wall so he can get the edit off. They're just holding on tight. He's going to have to rotate around potentially on top or push up the stairs. Change the angle of engagement. Pro players are typically very aware, these highly competitive players, very aware of appropriate times to disengage and get it up another angle, but Aiden gets dropped out from underneath. His opponent just lasering down any structure he's got. The AR shots, it's not as fast as SMG, but it's enough to take structure out. Aiden's only building 1 layer at a time. The third party from behind, maybe tunnel visioning on the opponent that was in front of him, just pushing, losing track of the fact that somebody else was watching. There are other players there. You got to start looking for those little towers. He's playing for having as much health as possible for the next fight. Gonna chug jug here for the extra 50 shield, as there's a ton of fights going on around him. That was Boyer who just cut down Cease. You got Lanane from Envy down there in the river. Does Aiden continue this aggressive play? Looks like he will. He wants this right away, Lupo. Tyler's even analyzed it earlier in the interview. This is Coyotes. We mentioned it earlier in the feed, eliminating replays, and here's the actual engagement. Taking a top down here, he's going for ownership of these structures so he can get the edit. These are my walls, and he wants the shot whenever he wants the shot. Here it is, 153. Can't ask for much more from your shotgun. Right there, as we head back to the action, you're Tilted. Looks like Aiden's trying to build on up and match his opponent. Boyer, I think, has slipped on out of that lower box. He will have to move quite far for this next zone. This end game really near 0 areas of interest. You see kind of in the river, and how awkward is this? It's 2 cliffs and a low valley. Look at how dense this circle is. This rotation is going to cut a lot of players out. There's 49 players left. 49.
This is the most we've seen, I guarantee you, at this circle. 53 seconds and people have to move it. This is potentially a time for Aiden to shine. He might be on the outside of the circle, Jack, but you have an option here to not worry about placement, go for 2 more eliminations, and secure 3 points very early in this event. It could be big.
Here's Vape Jesus, one of our players on the verge of earning 3 elims. All these players stacked up in these builds. It's like Saps in a fight here, dropped to just 50 HP.